Yeah.
Make a sound.
We're live.
Yeah, we are. Hang on.
Since you're not ready, I'm fixing my table.
I know. Hang on, hang on.
Yeah, that's better.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to EduTALK. EduTALK is a bi-monthly virtual talk show created out of the need for a global learning community focused on topics in education that directly impact Caribbean nations and diaspora nationals working across the globe. EduTalk features teachers, principals, students, administrators, business leaders, and dignitaries who share their expertise on critical topics facing education today with a common goal of moving education forward and our students upward. My name is Dr. Dwayne Dice, and I'm your host and the founder and CEO of Education Solutions International. I am joined by my distinguished colleague and co-host, Dr. Miguel Barker, a seasoned administrator and principal at AMA Oman International School, located in the Middle East. He also serves as Chief Academic Officer at Education Solutions International. Please, everyone, visit educationsolutionsinternational.org and subscribe. Also, if you're on the platform, you're watching us on this YouTube channel, Education Solutions International TV, subscribe and you will see a ton of videos that we have done on different topics, highlighting different areas of education, educational growth, educational leadership, teaching and learning, classroom management, and so on and so forth, and policy. Okay, join us in the fight against ignorance and all the other ANSYS. Okay, now I'm gonna hand over. We have some special guests. I'm handing over to my colleague here, Dr. Miguel Barker. Dr. Miguel Barker, we have with us some young stalwarts in education because they're leading the role here. I want your take on things here.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening to our listeners. Good evening to all of the people who may be here to support Shaniell and Gavin. Now, as you have said, this is about education. This is about empowering student voices, giving a space, a place, and sometimes a face to student leadership. So we have today with us two students from a school in Jamaica, and I must add, I've never heard of this school before. So there's going to be a piece of this where you're going to, not only will you be introducing yourself, you're also going to have to introduce our viewers a little bit about your school. And when you introduce yourself, just tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe tell us your head boy, head girl, obviously, but tell us a little about your school so we can know what makes Central High special, what makes Central High Central High. So who'd like to go first? Seems like Gavin has voted that Shaniell goes first. So Shaniell, introduce yourself and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, so good night, everyone. My name is Shaniell Jackson, and I am the head girl of Central High School. What makes Central Central High School is that we are not only a school, we're not only an institution, but we are a family. We work together and we try our best to ensure that each student feels as if they are not just at an institution for learning, but that they are there and they feel loved as a family. So yes.
Yes. While Gavin is still sorting something out. Oh, he's back. Gavin, tell us a little about yes. I was gonna hold on, Gavin. I'm Shaniell, you just mentioned your name. Tell us a little bit about you, Shaniell.
About me.
Yeah. So we get to know you.
Okay. Well, I am living in Clarendon and I am a leader in my church. So I am a part of the youth group. I sing on the choir. I am in a closely knitted family. I love my family very much. And yeah, I have a brother and a sister. My sister is the oldest one. I'm the middle child, and my brother is the last.
Okay. And what do you like to do outside of school and church? Is there anything that you have? Hobbies?
My hobbies are singing, watching television. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh,
Okay.
so reading is in there too, I'm telling you.
Yes.
So not
Gavin.
even the phone, Dr. Barker. I'm wondering if she likes her phone to like every other.
Well, she said watching television. Nowadays, you don't know what that means.
Exactly.
That could mean watching the television on the phone. Gavin, your time. Tell us a little about yourself and then also a little bit about what makes Central High.
All right, so pleasant evening. You guys are in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so pleasant evening, everyone. My name is Gavin Dockery, and I'm the head boy of Central High School. Central High School is located in the parish of Clarendon. Persons who know Clarendon, is located on Severn's Road, Clarendon. What makes Central High School Central High School? First of all, Central High School is the school of choice. You know, as the head girl had mentioned, we at Central High School, you know, we make the students feel, you know, like they're a part of a family because the school is an institution, you know, a home away from home, right? So we try to make the students feel at home and as comfortable as they can. About myself, honestly, I would say I'm a very determined person. So whatever goal I set for myself, you know, I try to reach them or try to achieve them, you know, as best as possible.
Okay. Tell me something. You mentioned that Central High is in Clarendon.
Yes,
Now, I know Clarendon, and Clarendon is not a small parish. So I need a little bit more detail, unless you don't want people to find it. So tell me, tell me something that will help us to understand. Where is Central High?
As in, you want a vivid description of?
Yes, give me something. I know Clarendon enough. I know Mineral Heights. I know Beckford Crawl. I know Trumpet Hall. I know places. I know Chapelton. So help us.
I said it's on Severn's Road. You know,
So
Severn's Road.
is it in Mapen?
Yes, it is in Mapen.
Okay, that's a missing piece. You haven't said where
Oh.
it is. That's a missing piece.
Okay, because I had mentioned that it's on Severn's Road.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So one of the things you're gonna have to do well here, you know, if you're gonna work on the show, you're gonna have to be a bit descriptive in the things and not assume that we know a lot on these things. So when we ask you some questions, just go for it. Give as much detail as you can without an assumption.
All right, no problem.
So you are head boy and head girl. Perhaps maybe it would be good for the listeners to understand, how did you arrive at that role in your school? What was the process?
Gavin?
All right, so when I was in grade 11, normally they would, you know, do an election. You'd be elected by a executive member within the school, or, you know, you would be elected by a teacher within the school that, you know, they see you as a leader, and, you know, they would elect you to the prefect coordinator, right? Because she's the one who's in charge of the executive body of the prefect body that includes the, you know, the head boy, head girl, deputies, right? So, you know, you would be elected by a teacher or somebody, and after that, you would have to do a speech in front of, you know, the principal, vice principal, outlining some of the things that you want to see, like some of the improvement that you want to see in the school.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, like some of the improvements that you want to do in the school. So it's like a competitive match among different, persons, different candidates, right? And the persons who they, better view or better improvement that they want for the school, you will be elected. So I had run in grade 11 for deputy because head boys are only given in sixth form, right? I didn't got through, right? So I run for second deputy. But I did not got through in when I was in grade 11. However, when I came to sixth form, I was elected as deputy head boy, right? So I ran in sixth form and then I got through as deputy head boy. And then when I reached in upper six, I was elected as head boy. And then that's how I got the position as head boy.
Okay. And Shaniell, would you say you have a similar journey or is it different? Like
I think Shaniell left a little bit. He's probably having some difficulties.
Yeah.
So Gavin, let's engage a little bit until Shaniell gets back on here. Because you're not just talking to Jamaicans here, you're talking to a wide cross-section of people across the globe.
All right.
What's the similarity? Because when you're coming out of Jamaica, they don't really have that concept of head boy and head girl. They have like student council president. So in some schools like colleges, they have student council body, which is similar to the one that they have like in the US here. They have it for high school. So you become a part of the student government body and you become a student council rep and so on. Is it the same concept? Is it the same structure as because you're familiar with, you have an idea of how they operate in colleges, where they have the student government or the student council, and then you have reps in each classroom or each course, and then you gather to have your meetings, your executive meetings, talk about issues in the school with students and teachers, and then you probably devise some plans to find solutions to these problems. So is it the same structure? Tell us a little bit how the student government or head boy, head girl system operates.
All right then. So here at Central High School, the student council body and the executive body for the prefect body, they're two different organizations, right?
Hey.
So the prefect body is we're the ones that uphold discipline within the school. So we work along with the principals, and those persons. And in contrast, you have the student council body. We have the student council president. They have the different delegates. They're the one who would like
Advocate?
try. Pardon?
Advocate?
Yes, they would try to advocate on behalf of the students, right? So if the students, for example, are not happy with the lunch at the canteen, right? The student will voice their opinion to them, and then they will take it to the board to see if this can be rectified, etc.
Oh, so pertaining to, all right, that's good. So your focus is on discipline to make sure
Right.
that students are doing what you're doing.
Yes, they're
why is it that they have to have a head boy and a head girl? Why not presidents? Why not president of that governing body? Why head boy and head girl? Why do you have to have two different genders?
All right. So the head boy, they would normally target the young men within the school, right? So, if you have, delinquent students there, the head boy, would work along with the boys, right? And the head girl, would work along with girls because, females maybe, they would feel comfortable to share personal information, with a female, like a one-on-one conversation with a female. So the head boy, the head girl, they target their gender. Right.
Oh, okay. All right. Dr. Barker, do you have something like that in your school? Dr. Barker is a principal. I'm wondering if, yeah.
The Jamaican system is slightly different, but we have a an executive, but not necessarily a leader for the executive, which is more of a collaborative setup. But you mentioned student leadership in your school as having two tracks, so to speak. One, an advocacy kind of role where you're looking at meeting the needs of students and bringing those issues to the school's leadership. And you also mentioned the other track, which is more of an extension of the teacher, an extension of the school, essentially almost like the school's police force. Does that characterize the way that you would see it as well?
Yes, yes. So we uphold discipline, yes.
Okay, so you have to uphold discipline. So as a young leader, at what point did you decide that that's the route you take? Because clearly it's two different pathways. How did you come to that decision that I'd go for the role that is more on the discipline side as against the advocate side? And in my other follow-up to that, do you see this as separate roles as well? Let me hear your thoughts.
Repeat the last part. I didn't. You chip out in the last.
I just answer the first part. I'll come back with it. That's the main. How did you decide at some point that I'm going to choose to? Because you've gone for it a few times, like the prefect stuff. So how did you decide that I'm going to go for more of the upholding of discipline, as against the advocacy part of it?
All right. So, from I was, coming up in Central High School from grade 7. I've always been a disciplined student. I've always, conformed, to school rules. I've always tried to, punctual at school and do stuff, right? So the teachers at school, they saw that, that thing in me that, I was an upholder of discipline, and those stuff. So that's where it kind of started in me, like drive me to that part of discipline, right? Because I've always tried to uphold discipline. It's like if I see a student out of line, their pants have been altered, I'll try to stop that student and say, hey, you're not conforming to the school rule. This is, and just try to get them to conform, try to get them on the right path.
Okay, so conform. Does academic play a role? How significant is your academic performance when you're looking in terms of these leadership position in your school? Does it look, especially that you said that the student government body that you're a part of, it pertains to curtailing discipline and fixing students' behavior and so on. So you as a leader in the school, does it mean that you have to perform really well, like a high academic performer and achiever in order to be qualified for that position? Definitely.
You have to be, you have to have a high academical standard, right? Because you wouldn't want to be a head boy, right? And your grades are not good, right? So they normally tend to choose the students, with the best grades, students who have high academical standard, so like students can look at you and say, I want to have the grades like a head boy, I want to be getting in the 90s. So you want to like set that standard, for other students, to emulate you, yeah.
Okay. We have Shaniell back.
Yeah. Thank God.
Ask her the same question about.
Finally.
No problem. And resilience is an important thing for us, So
Yeah.
We reward that a lot more than other things. So Shaniell, the question that was posed to Gavin was about his leadership journey in school.
Yes.
I know you mentioned the church as a bedrock of what grounds you, but tell us a little bit about. He described when you were absent about the two different tracks in school in terms of student leadership, which is a student council, more of an advocate for students and their what they need to be, to find school enjoyable and meaningful to them, and also the disciplinary track, which is the prefect, and that you're currently in. So my question to him was, how did he decide the pathway that he would take as a school leader?
Oh, so you're okay. I understand. Well, it honestly has to depend. Well, it honestly depends on who you really want others to view you as. Because yes, you can be somebody who is all for discipline, and you want to uphold discipline and all that, but at the same time, you want to ensure that people enjoy what they do and what they come to do. So you have to find like a level ground, and you have to decide what you actually want to do. And I honestly felt that being a head girl is something that you can actually do to help other people to recognize that, hey, coming to school is not just all about coming to school to get the grades and all of that, but you have to try to be the best version that you can be. Because when you leave your family home and you come on the road, you're portraying what your environment, the people who you live with, persons who have groomed you, you are portraying what they have instilled in you. And you have to ensure that you not only carry yourself well, but that you're representing those people well, if you're getting what I'm saying. Yes. So being the head girl is something that helps me to portray to other persons what and where I have come from, and where I have been taught some valuable lessons, some valuable things that have helped to shape my character and to help to shape who I am.
Yeah. So that's why you chose that pathway.
Yes. Yes, yes, as you were saying about the student council, yes, you have to, enjoy yourself and so forth, but at the same time, there has to be a level of discipline, because you cannot enjoy yourself in chaos, can't you? So yeah, there has to be a level of discipline. So I chose the disciplinary pathway.
Okay. So how do you, as student leaders, both of you are the student leaders in school in that sense, and maybe the more visible ones, because if I remember, the student council is much more, the head boy, head girl are the ones who tend to be a little bit more visible in school and school leadership. So how do you, in that role, right, allow student voices to be heard in the school? What would you say, you do?
Well, well, from my experience as being the head girl and so forth, it's not necessarily what you do. You see, once you wear a badge, once you have something that states your, people will see you. So it's not necessarily that like you have to put yourself out there. Well, yeah, you have to put yourself out there, you have to brandish you, but at the same time, people see you because they see what you wear and they see what you stand for. And I had an experience where somebody came up to me and they were asking me a question, and I had to give them from the standpoint of discipline, and I had to get in the nitty-gritty of all of that. But at the same time, I understand what you're saying, but you just have to, I think it just has to do with the fact that people see that you are the head girl because of what you wear and how you adorn yourself. I think that's it.
Okay.
Gavin?
Pardon?
Yeah, you have a thought on that? Like, how do you, as a head boy, head girl team, get your students' voices heard in school in terms of even the administration?
Well, just the add on what Shaniell was saying, it's not necessarily like we as the head boy and the head girl, we are like more on the disciplinary side. So like it's not necessarily that we like try to get student voices to be heard. That will be more, inclined to like the student leaders. So like if they see a default, in the school, they are the ones who like will say, they'll come amongst themselves and they say, the students are complaining about this. How are we gonna try to advocate on their behalf? And we are there to like say, so let give an example. Like for instance, the school says persons who are late, if you come after 8 when school call, you'll be locked outside of the school and you won't be able to enter the school, right? There's where the student council would come in and they would try to advocate and say that you can't stop persons from coming to school because they might be coming to school and something happened and they're late. Is the case we're going to stop them from coming inside? So the student council would advocate for them while we try to uphold discipline. So it's somewhat of a conflict.
Well, not a conflict, but I get what you mean.
Yes.
So would it be a case where the student council and the student, the prefect body would meet to work this out, or is it still rooted through teachers to you? Is there like an overarching council that you meet? And for example, a good example is a rule that is implemented and you as let's say the ones who are upholding the discipline or upholding the rule are in sense have to uphold that rule. But the student council, having the advocacy functioning, decided that this is an issue. Would it be a case where is there a space where you as students only could discuss this and then emerging from that, you speak with it? Or is it, how does that work when that situation you just described happens?
All right, so we would meet, like, so the student council president, would like come to one of us and they will like say, hey, students are complaining about this. We'll host a meeting and they will view like bring across their point, or we bring across our point, and then like if we don't necessarily agree or come to a unanimous agreement, like we'll take it to the higher heads and they would come to the final agreement. Because we're not necessarily pardon?
Okay, good. Now I'm listening. Good. I'm
Because
glad to
sometimes
hear
we don't agree. Like they're saying this, we're saying this, so the conversation not necessarily going anywhere. We're just back and forth. They're advocating, we're upholding discipline, and those kind of stuff.
So, Dr. Barker, let me jump in here a little bit to ask both of you. Maybe Shaniell could go first. The indiscipline that is happening in the media in Jamaica now, you see, they're sharing these things in the media. We're seeing them from all over the world. I'm in New York City. Dr. Barker is in Oman, in the Middle East, and we're getting these things on our devices. Would you say, being in Central High School, would you say indiscipline is out of control in the schools?
I don't think I would want to use the word out of control.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as if that word is kind of a bit too much, but I get what you're saying. Yes, indiscipline is way, like it's past what it was before. And I think that it has to do with the breakdown in society. I think that it has to do with the breakdown in the institutions of society as well. The family, the churches, the education system, and so forth. So I feel as if it's because of all those factors, the breakdown in those institutions in the society, and then that when the students come to school, they are spending like an 8 hour away from their homes. So that amount of time that they spent, whatever deeply entrenched issue that they have, it will be taken out in school time. So whether it's on their peers, on their teachers, and whomever they feel the need to take it out on. So yes, it is. We still don't want to use the word out of control, but it is getting there. It's honestly getting there.
Okay, Gavin, you want to share?
All right. Yes. So necessarily, I wouldn't say the indiscipline at our school is necessarily out of control, because it all depends on the type of student, and the background, that they're associated with, right? So at Central High School, we have a place named Farm, right? So it's a ghetto area, and most of the students from Farm, they attend Central High School, and it's a bad area. So when they come to school, they would give off that impression. Right?
What do you classify as bad area? What does bad mean in this sense?
We're like have gangs and those type of stuff. Okay. Right? So so the children that are brought up there, they're brought up seeing gangs, they're exposed to violence and guns. So like when they come to school, they don't necessarily want to learn, right? They come and they want to fight and those type of stuff.
Okay. All right. So I want you to define something, both of you. When we talk about indiscipline, and Shaniell said that it's a breakdown of systems in society. And because of these systems that were there before, the structure, and some of it is depleting gradually. So there's something else which is indiscipline coming in place. So how would you define indiscipline? What are those things? Because sometimes when I look at students in school, let me give you a context. That students are outraged because their voices are not being heard. So somebody might say, why the girl talk up so much in class while the teacher is talking? She needs to close her mouth and listen. But that child probably might need an answer to her question deep down. She has some other related problems. Or the boy who is lashing out or wanting to fight, maybe he needs a way to express himself and nobody is actually listening to him. So he turned to express himself that way because he knows he needs another means. So with the fighting and everything that we are seeing in schools, what how do we describe indiscipline? What is that we're calling indiscipline in school, since we're referring to the breakdown of society that's contributing to that? What is indiscipline?
I think indiscipline is when like you do not have the control that you would normally have over your behavior. So that might happen by somebody triggering either like a bad you having a bad mood, or like triggering something bad. Say for example, like a student who goes through like abuse at their home, and then they'll go to school, and somebody, either a teacher or student, like they would say something that would trigger that mood or that way in how they felt when they were being hit at home, and then that it would just allow them to lose self-control that they had. So I believe that indiscipline is the lack of control over one's behavior and how one normally conducts themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Gavin is nodding, so he agrees with that. Gavin, what is this? So Miss Trudy Ann James, I think she's your leader, principal, or teacher. She said she's
prefect coordinator.
Prefect coordinator. She says she's very proud of you guys. She's posting it online. Super proud of her student leaders. Speaking of super proud of our student leaders and the school in our society, because we want to promote student voices, Dr. Barker and myself here. How important is the school? So you look at Central High School and you talk about areas that are, the reason why I ask you to rephrase that word bad is because I want people to understand the problems that our inner city and our outer communities have in our systems. And the school plays a part in that system. And if the school does not try to do something in these communities, the school is going to get overrun by the problems that these communities have. And you guys are very good thinkers. So we want you to apply your thinking to this. How important is the school in our society to change some of these problems that we have in our neighboring communities? What role does the school play to change the mindset and the problem areas in these communities?
Well, the school, yeah, it does play an important role, because the school is an institution where you go to learn. You learn so that when you go out in society, you can apply the knowledge that you have garnered from going to school. So the school plays an important role in communities as well, because it's the said students or the said people from the community that go to the same institution that is close to them, and the school is a part of the environment in which said people live in. So the school plays a tremendous role, and I honestly believe that, as I've said before, it's a breakdown of the social institutions in society. And what the school can do, or what the institution can do to help, I think it's to reach out or reach back to the community. So like they can have like fundraising to like help to like go out in the communities and to like help needy families. And what I saw one of my teachers doing, that is the prefect coordinator, she was doing like a drive where like we will come together and we'll contribute products, for example, like tissues and necessary items. And we wanted to like give back. I wouldn't say the name institution that we wanted to give back to, but we just wanted to give back to the people in the community, and just to give back to the people in general. So I believe that that is one of the ways in which the school can help.
Right. Gavin, what role is, thank you, Sean. What role you think the school play in changing these communities around it?
All right, so I think the school plays an important role, in grooming students, right? Because like the school is a place where, a home away from home. This is where, you interact with different students, you interact with your peers, etc., right? So the school is an institution where it prepares you. It prepares you for numerous of things, right? It prepares you for the world of work, right? So for example, the school instilled that students are supposed to reach at school by 8, right? Right. So they are instilling punctuality in the students from an early age. So like, for instance, where you're going out to work, right? This is the same instruction that you'll be given, that you're supposed to be on time, and etc. Right. So I think this school play an integral role in the development of students, their whole punctuality, their whole demeanor, and their whole self, right? Yes.
Mhm. Dr. Barker, I'm gonna pass it over to you in a little bit, but Romario, Pastor Romario Smith, he said online that the guidance counseling has not been effective as before. It has lost some of its value. Guidance counseling. I think that is the case in the school. You don't know? Nobody wants to say anything. In general, if you look at our school systems across Jamaica and the wider society, not just Jamaica, do you think we need to put more in guidance counseling for students? Like
Yes, definitely.
Programs, right?
Definitely.
You guys are very diplomatic. All right.
Can I ask him?
Yeah.
I want to just ask. I mean, you're coming to the end of your tenure as head boy and head girl. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
You are. Mhm.
Okay, so there are two things I want to follow up on. With one, I'm sure you have applied for university. Am I correct?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Okay, so you're looking to go up and study. We'll finish off on a high to say what you're looking to study when you get there and why you want to do that. But and I'll also check to see which hall you maybe want to stay, and have a lot of some other. But my question is, if it's gonna year
so hold on, I'm interrupting here, so you can talk to Dr. Barker. Dr. Barker is an alumni, of UWI, so you can reason with him to get on one of those halls.
Yeah.
Dr. Barker, yes.
No, I have a good track record there, so I don't want to have a track record that I don't want you to know too much about. So I won't reveal too much. But you've completed a year now in leadership, and it is an achievement, a significant achievement in anyone's life to be identified and then rewarded with roles of responsibilities, right? And as you take on those roles, one of them is to be identified in that way. But one of the other things we have to understand is, what are the expectations of leadership? And so my question to you is a lot more about, not only about the fact that you do the job, but also around the impact you have had in the job. Okay. So as head boy, and you can both speak separately on this as head boy, and then also you could maybe speak as a team, if you feel that's a way to think about it, right? It really is up to you. But in terms of where the school was when you were appointed into the role, I want you to think a little bit and consider, what would you say has been your impact in that role in this year?
I should go first.
Yeah, what have you
or
done?
If it's not you, you could speak on your team. You're free to speak about this as openly as possible.
All right. So before persons, right, you are like given the position as a head boy, or a head girl, right? You would have to outline some of the stuff that you would want to see change within the school, right? So one of the stuff that I had put forward, like, you have a club at my school, it's the Gentleman's Club, right? So it's a male.
Good. I used to have one of those. Oh.
You have?
Yeah, I used to have one.
Right. So it's a club that, promote discipline, right? So it helps young boys, how to act within society, right? Act better within society. So in my speech, I had said that I wanted to partner with this club, right? So as I said before, the head boy, you would help this like change the young men within the school, right? So what I wanted to see is the young men, like the young prefects or young men, like I wanted the prefect body to collaborate with the Gentleman's Club, right? So all the prefect boys, they would join this club and they would come to this club, right? So I think that club has impacted the school, right? Because the other day, the Gentleman's Club, we went on a luncheon, right? And just to see the young men's, or club uniform is white shirt, red tie, and black, right? So when we just the school and came, all of the boys, they're saying, we want to join the gentleman's club because it looks like a good club, right? So I think that young men want to see, like they want to see something, right? They want to see something that they can look forward to, right? So these gatherings where, young men meet and, they talk about stuff, I think boys want to see this. They want this, right? They want a place where they can express themselves among males, issues that they're having, etc.
Shaniell, what about you?
Yes, so to add on to what he was saying, I had something in my speech that was kind of similar to what he was saying. In my speech, I was saying that I wanted us to have like something called a ladies therapy. So we'll go to school, and after school and on specific day we will gather together as females, and we would just come together and just try to discuss whatever problems that we have. And I feel as if that would actually help, that would potentially help students, because in the school society, in the school institutions, students come to school with a lot of baggages. We have students who come to school, and you have students who come to school and they may not be doing well at home. Their family may not be doing well, whether it be financially, monetary wise, or food wise. They don't have all that thing, but they would not come there and speak openly and say, hey, like we're not feeling well financially at home. So I wanted to create a safe environment in which, like, the females specifically, because he's the head boy, so he had to do things with the boys, the males, and I wanted to do something with the females. So I wanted that ladies therapy to be something where us girls could just come, we could just talk freely, openly, and it would be a safe environment where if, like, I tell you something, then I wouldn't come to school the next day hearing it all over the compound. I wanted it to be something like that, and I honestly believe that it could have helped a lot of students. And me, for example, because I love all the talking, So and I too want to, help counsel persons, because I'm all about trying to help people and all that stuff. So I really wanted it to work, but because of COVID, and then the students came in late, it couldn't work out. But yeah, I really wanted something like that to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Miss Judy and James, your lead again, she said that at Central High, the guidance counselor, Mrs. Myers, is very effective, and she goes out in the community and supports students and so on. So she's actually reflecting on your own thinking and sharing too, that you guys are doing a wonderful job over there. Dr. Barker, yes.
Yeah, so so thanks for that, guys. I mean, it's very important that as leaders you recognize that it's not only the position, it's also about impact. And it seems to me that that message is quite clear that you're getting strong leadership in terms of this prefect, the teacher who is organizing you as well, and the systems that are in place in your school. Because we know many people who get positions, and that is all that matters to them, is that they're in the position, not having anything to do. So that's great. You mentioned your individual work. I wondered if there's any success that you could claim as a team.
Don't be silent. Tell us what you have worked on together.
Go ahead.
While you're thinking about that, there's a concept called the collaborative advantage, right? Where there is an outcome that is only possible through the collective working of a group. And that outcome is only possible because people got together to do it. So I want to understand, what was the collaborative advantage of your team?
As it in general, or as it
Go for it. Go for it. There's no right and there's no wrong answer when I ask a question. Trust me.
All right. So the prefect body. No, we didn't have a notice board at school. Like to put out the prefect. Like for instance, we prefect documents, right? The executive body, right? So we came together as the prefect body, and we did fundraising events. And so we are planning on putting up a notice board so that that's a thing that we came together and did. As well as the prefect body, we also had a fundraising event where we are planning on giving scholarship to two students that are leaving Central High School. So that was a plan of our prefect coordinator, Miss James. So that's what we are planning on doing.
She's saying it, she's right. It's online here. Yep.
So that's good. I think the key thing here, I want you to understand when we're talking about student leadership, the questions we're asking is around the way that, because guess what? You're going to be the leaders. And I mean that. I didn't put anything, leaders of anything. You're going to be the leaders. And it's important that leaders understand that position does not reflect the end point. It is the beginning. And while it is important to also have individual impact, it's also important to have collective impact, grouping power together. As I say, if you have the 5 fingers on your hand, it has no real power, but if you fold it in together, it becomes more powerful, right? So we need to get people to work together, and we talk about indiscipline in this conversation, and sometimes it's people who are excluded who begin to exhibit this kind of behavior. So I think it's great that you are aware of that. And I know when I asked the question first, you kind of went, oh God, I don't even know what we did. But then you kind of realize that we did do some stuff, right? Which is good, because it's important as you move forward. And even you just went through just now, when you're going to university, you want to get into positions of authority and leadership as well. These very same conversations we're having now will help you to frame a response to say, but because leadership is about making change. And what you've described to us today, both of you, is the change you have been while in Central High School. And one of the things you have to make sure now as you finish up the year is making sure that the change that you've put in place is sustainable, meaning it doesn't go when you leave. So in the final few stages, and I know your coordinator might have said this, so I'm going to reiterate it. It's good to get the message from many places, right? You now need to think deeply about your gentleman's club and your counseling stuff that you guys are doing, and different kind of activities.
The ladies' therapy.
How do I make sure that this doesn't become a Shaniell change or a Gavin change? You see what I mean? Or the 2022, 2020, 2021, 2022 change. These must be changes that carry on, that people see the value. And so you're looking at who are the leaders who are going to take over, right? Who are going to be, what are the structures do I need to leave in place? Because these are very important things that will need to be done. Now, so I have a final question for you, and I know Dr. Dice will have a final one for you as well.
Yeah.
I'm very, very interested in, I'm not going to ask you, what are you going to become? I'm not going to ask you what you're going to study. I'm going to ask you what problem that exists in Jamaica, that the study you're going to undertake in Jamaica, how will it help to solve that problem? So what you're going to study now, what problem in Jamaica are you planning to solve by the course of study that you chose?
Well, there's actually 2 course of studies that I really want to see if I can actually help change Jamaica with, and it's one of the study is one that can help to bring people together, because when we work together, we can achieve so much more than when we are trying to achieve it separately. And sometimes we have issues with other persons, and because of deeply entrenched issues that we have with them, we try to break away from them, and we don't want to come together to try and build on each other. So I really want to help with help to bring people together, and one of them is to help to enforce the laws that we have in Jamaica.
That's right.
And so you're going to study.
Repeat.
What are you planning to?
I want to do psychology and law.
Okay. Made sense. I just needed you to say it as well.
Okay.
So you may say, I will be a psychologist or a lawyer in order to bring this change, right?
Right.
Yes, Gavin.
Yes, so the same thing as Shaniell, we are both, prospective law students, right? So we are planning on matriculating onto university this year, right? On the Faculty of Law, right? So, what was the question again? What was the question? Repeat the question.
What problem are you planning to solve by becoming a lawyer?
So I'm planning on becoming, I want to more inclined to the criminal side. So I want to advocate, on persons' voice that can't be heard. Like so persons who have been incarcerated for many years, they can't get bail. I'm trying to try to see how, I or the body of lawyers that graduating in my batch, how we can help to solve this, how we can get persons to be freed. Well, I've been incarcerated all these years and stuff.
Okay. Do you have some good lawyers in Jamaicans for Justice too that you can pick as role models in that area? Yeah, they're doing some job, and they need to beef it up a little bit, but they're trying. They're trying. So you have some role models over there in Jamaicans for Justice. So the final question for me tonight with you guys. By the way, we enjoyed having you here and listening to you. Is to look at the structures that we have, right? And the way that you have come along and developed yourselves in the system, and you're giving back, just like what Dr. Barker just said, that the focus that you have moving forward and the journey that you will have to take, you're going to have to put in a lot of work in it, just like any one of us who have passed through the system and put in a lot of work to change whatever we see is necessary that we want to change in society. Who are your role models? Who are your role models out there that you want to say something to highlight them and just mention them? So that's one of my questions to you. Who are your role models? And what are some of the things that you would tell young people now in your school community who really need to hear from somebody? Okay, just like yourself. So who are your role models, and what are some of the things that you'll tell to some of the at-risk youth out there who really want to hear from somebody? Gavin, you want to go first, or maybe, all right, Shaniell, you can go first because Gavin is taking a little bit of a break here.
Okay. Yeah. So role models. I must say that I'm blessed to have a lot of people in my life, and people who are there to help back me, people who are there to, help to make me who I am today. And I would say that one of my greatest role models would be my mother. Shout out to mommy. She has helped me in so many ways, and in so many instances too, because I can remember when like there was something that was being held at school, and I was kind of like, I really wanted to go, but I was like, no, maybe mommy wouldn't make me go because all of these other factors and whatever. But I eventually told her, and she looked into it and she prayed about it, because my mother is a very strong woman in the faith. She prays about things, and she prayed about it, and she was saying that, I think that this is something that can help you in the future and so forth. And the way how she went about it, trust me, the way how she went about it, she did everything that she could to ensure that I was comfortable and that I could attend the event that was held and so forth. And I really must say that she is a wonderful role model. She's a wonderful mom. She is always there to back me. She's always there to help me, and she's always there to pray me up. So yeah, I really want to make her proud.
Yeah. So what would you say to the young people out there?
I would say that find somebody who you look up to. With all of this social media thing, people subscribing to so many other persons on YouTube and Instagram. And I don't think that they're role models. Maybe they're people, who have about, like a 50 minutes of fame, if I could say that, or stuff for. But people are out here looking for role models, but they're not subscribing, or they're not looking to substantial people. You have people out there who are looking for people because you know, they have the fame, they have the style, they have the fashion and all sort of that. But at the same time, at the end of the day, how can you garner knowledge, or how can this individual help you? So I must say that people should find role models, good role models, and people who can help them. People in whether their environment, people online, people who can help them to push them into what they want to become in society.
Yeah, yeah. And we thank you so much, Shaniell. Dr. Barker, we actually lost Gavin the last second, and Gavin is gone.
Yeah, I saw
Sadly.
that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to thank him, you know, on
Yeah,
here.
we can thank him. We lost Shaniell now.
And Shaniell-
But
Shaniell,
it's good to,
yeah,
you know, to hear the thoughts of these young leaders. It's clear that they're getting good grounding in terms of understanding what leadership is about. It also seems that Central High seems to have a well-entrenched system that is maybe a leadership producing system. So it's maybe good, maybe one day we could talk to the people here to understand the philosophy of their student leadership approach.
yeah,
You know, just to see the other side of the conversation, because you know, the students are there, but we know that there are people enabling these kind of opportunities. So it'd be good maybe to find out, like, what's the philosophy, maybe chat to those people as well. And because while there's an empowering, someone has to be willing to relinquish some of the power in order to empower.
That's
you
true.
know, so-
Yeah, that's a very good point there. Yeah.
So we just have to, it would be nice to hear about that.
Yeah, if we can get Trudy and James, Miss Trudy and James on the
Perhaps,
program.
yeah,
So
perhaps.
she's the leader for the prefect body, student government in general.
And it's a good time for us to do this thing about, you know, positive student.
Yeah,
But we've seen a lot of negative things, you know, and it's important that we balance it sometimes, because we know that the negative will be shown a lot on social media, but the positive is never going to be shown.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's good when we can play a role in highlighting the positives and say,
Yeah.
here are some positive people. And
Yeah.
it's really, really good.
I'm gonna ask. Oh, Gavin is back again. I'm gonna ask Gavin. If anyone out there, if you want to reach out,
It's not yet on.
yeah, our email for Education Solutions International is edusolutionsintl. That's edu solutions intl@gmail.com. If you want to write to us. Also, you can even send us a message on our website. Our website is educationsolutionsinternational.org. That's educationsolutionsinternational.org. And you can subscribe to our website as well, because we have a lot on there to offer, even students as well as teachers and principals and guidance counselors and so on. So you can get on there. We're always up and about. Some people ask us if you ever sleep, you know, like Dr. Barker, I just asked him and he will ask me the same question, because we have a ton of things we need to change. Gavin, we're winding down here, and Shaniell, I think I'm crucifying your name. Is it Shaniell or
Shaniell.
Shaniell.
Oh
Dr. Barker
Lord,
said it.
I crucified. I am my apology. All that time you should have corrected me
It's fine.
from the very beginning. Okay, so we're closing down here, and we want Gavin. Gavin, you didn't share what you would tell young people, because a lot of them out there, they're listening to you. I saw somebody on here said, Brother Gavin, think is Richie or something. I don't know. He's calling you brother, bro. So you really mean a lot to these wonderful young people here. So Gavin, what can you say to your young gentlemen in the Gentlemen's Club, as well as the communities at large out there, before we wrap it up here?
I'm not hearing you.
You're not hearing me? How about now? Can you hear us now, Gavin? Can you hear us? No? Oh boy. So we have lost Gavin's microphone there.
Sound?
All right, it's okay, Gavin. So we can't hear. Let's see. Let me type something in here for him. Gavin, do that one. Can you hear us now? Oh, unmute yourself. So we can.
All right, yes. All right, so what would I like to say, to young men out there or young people within general? Don't try to be like anyone else, right? Try to be yourself, right? Don't try to fall within the statistics of society, right? Not because you see a group of persons doing this. That doesn't mean you have to do that. You don't necessarily have to try to fit in with anybody because nothing is wrong with being the odd one out, right? So don't necessarily try to fit in, right, where you don't belong, because like when you try to fit in, with other persons, it's not necessarily for your benefit, but for their benefit, right? Because it's not something that you want to do, right? Don't fall under peer pressure. Don't let anyone try to, pressure you into doing anything that you are not, that you don't want to do, or that you are not a part of. Just try to be yourself.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. Can you hear us now? Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right, good. All right, so we're winding down. Gavin, we really want you guys to stay in touch. Stay on the line. Right after this, we're gonna give you our email address, and then we're gonna invite your leader on here, Miss Julian James. Sometime in very, very close future. We have a few shows that we have to cover first, and then we invite her, as well as you guys to come and talk. All right, so everyone online, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the people who have put their comments and questions and so on for us. Continue to watch Education Solutions International TV on YouTube. We have a ton of videos there from interviews that we have done, Dr. Barker and myself. And the special thank you to Shaniell and Gavin for coming on and sharing their perspective on education this evening. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your week. We will see you next week, Tuesday, or regular time, okay? Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. And remember to subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our website is educationsolutionsinternational.org. That's educationsolutionsinternational.org, and you will be happy you do, okay, when you did.
And I think you need to let them know that when they subscribe, they'll get some form of a notification that we're going live, and that way they do not miss any of the amazing content that we create each week.
Yes,
so
yes.
Very important. Subscription allows them that unique and special VIP information, so they don't have to check. So loving these young people, and I really wish you that you become two lawyers who go out and do the change that you said you're going to do. I believe in you, and I know that that's the pathway that is set for you. All right, and the pathway may not have a clear way, because a good pathway is one that you make sometimes for yourself. You see it and you walk it. You don't sit there and wait for someone to do it. So all the best. And when you go to the University of the West Indies, are you going to live on campus?
Yes.
Okay, so I hope you have made a very good choice in the hall you have selected,
Yeah. Wait, don't let us come over and then we'll talk a little bit. All right, goodbye, everybody. See you next